Hi everyone, welcome to Informatica support videos. In this session, we are going to take a look on options to read multiple files in single integration pipeline when we have sources as AWS S3 or ADLS Gen2. Today's agenda is use case, various options in S3 to read multiple files, options in ADLS Gen2 to read multiple files, demo, and documentation. Coming to the use case. Sometimes developers get the requirement to read multiple files in IACS from S3 or ADLS Gen2. S3 connector supports various ways to read multiple files. In this KB, we will cover those ways to read multiple files in one pipeline. Below are the few options how to read multiple files in AWS S3 through AWS S3 connector. We can use a custom manifest file, or we can use a Amazon Redshift manifest file, or we can use directory as a source type. Let's go to the first option, custom manifest file. AWS S3 connector can read from manifest file and process multiple files in single pipeline. Below are some rules and guidelines of reading the manifest file. You can see on the right side the structure of a manifest file. Here you can see there are three separate sections. One is URIs or URI prefixes or wildcard URIs. URIs are here you can specify the path of the file relative to the bucket name. In URI prefixes, it will be specifying the path of the directory relative to the bucket name. In case of wildcard URI, we have to specify using a wildcard, maybe like star, the file name, so that we can cover multiple files of similar pattern by just giving one single line. For example, here if you have star.csv, any file name with the extension CSV will be read by the S3v2 connector. There are some limitations to this approach. Like, we will not be able to use a wildcard for the folder names. Also, if you are using IACS UI, the data preview tab will be only showing the first file. It will not read all the files. So these are the some limitation and features of custom manifest file. Let's go to the Amazon Redshift manifest file. In the Amazon Redshift manifest file, it is somehow similar to a custom manifest file, but here we are giving the full URI along with a mandatory tag to read the file. So suppose we have to read 10 files, we can add all the 10 file details in this format, and S3v2 connector will read all the files. The third option is, instead of using a manifest file, we can use directly as we can use the source as a directory instead of file, and it will be reading all the files if it is having a pattern, like in this case, if you can see the screenshot, like it is having a star.csv, so it will be reading all the CSV files from in that directory. This is something similar to how we have in custom manifest file, but we don't have to prepare any file or manifest file for this option. There are some rules and guidelines to use directory file. For example, all the files should be having same metadata, they should be having the same format, and they will be passed under a specified directory. All the files will be passed by the S3v2 connector. So these are the ways how we can read multiple files within one single pipeline for AWS S3v2 connector. Let's take a look on the ADLS Gen2 connector. Just like on the AWS side, we have option to read the directory. On the ADLS Gen2 side also, we have option to read the directory. The rules and guidelines are very similar. We can read the directory, we can read all the files if we are reading it based on directory. If we want to read the subdirectories, we have to check the option that read as a recursive directory read. It should be a recursive directory read. These are the options available in the advanced settings, so that we can the connector will look for all the files either directly within the folder or on the subfolders. Let's get into a demo. So this is the file structure. If you can see, for a manifest file structure for the AWS S3, we have to provide, if we are going with the URI, we will be passing the file names over here. We don't have to pass all the three. It can be any one, it can be two, or it can be three. All the three can work. Suppose if you want to pass a prefix, it will be the directory structure, and then it will start reading all the files under that directory. Let's take an example. Okay, this is the folder path manifest file. I have all the files listed here, but if I do a data preview, it will only show me the data from the first file. Okay, it is showing only the data from the user1 data. But if I run this file, if I run this mapping, it got succeeded. We can see here it is reading the data from all the files, where we have data from the files which are directly passed through URIs. We have data from the files which are passed through the folder structure and through the wildcard. We are able to read all the data. Similarly, all we have to do here is that we have to pass the manifest file as an input. Okay. Similarly, we can pass Amazon Redshift manifest file as an input and achieve the same result. Okay. Also, if we want to use directory as a we want to read the files as a directory, we have to, for metadata purpose, we have to choose one file, but in the advanced setting, we have to select it as a directory. Once we select this as directory, we will be able to read all the files over here. We do have an option if we want to enable some of the options are only available in advanced mode, but with this one you will be able to read more than one file. Let's take a look on the ADLS Gen2 side. So on the ADLS Gen2 side, if we are reading the data only from the directory, and we are saying that okay, we want to do a recursive directory read, it will go and do the recursive read. For example, I only passed GCS customer 1, but when I run this mapping, it will go and pick the files from all the directories. You can see here, you have if you have subdirectories, it will pick the files from those locations as well. Okay, this concludes the demo. Let's go back to the deck. He, Here is some reference guideline for the documentation links for all those file types supported to read from AWS S3 and ADLS Gen2. One thing to note is the file name port. If you are processing multiple files and you want to track the file names, the file name port for AWS S3 will not be directly available. Please follow the KB I have provided here. There is a flag available to add it in the DIS property to enable the file name port in the AWS S3 source read. Please provide your feedback on supportvideos@informatica.com or leave a tweet at Informatica Support on Twitter. Thank you.